Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Okay, hello everyone. This is Who Did You Boycott Today? This is part 3 of the audio recording for addressing Freeman lies, half-truths, and false history narrative. So here we go. Thank you for listening.
In America was based on race. Everybody know this. But then you got intelligent people with law degrees and college degrees spewing the same old foolishness out their mouth that nothing can be based on race, when the whole history of the country is based on race. How foolish does that sound? Will somebody please DM me an answer to that? Because my common sense, I'm not the smartest person, but my common sense tells me that plain as day, that the whole country evilness was based on the color of a person's skin, race. The whole evilness, the foundation of the evilness that has just started in 1619 all the way up to the present day has been based on the color of a person's skin. But then you have intelligent people constantly saying nothing can get passed based on race-based policy. How foolish does that sound? Will somebody please answer that for me? How foolish does that sound? The Pacific group that was harmed, was harmed because of their skin color, because of their race, it was classified as Negroes, was harmed because their skin color was dark brown, dark black, or a dark color. It was based on that, on that. And and that does fall under the category or the definition of race and ethnicity, all one and the same. It's interchangeable. It's constantly used interchangeable. But Negro was stated in the Special Field Order 15 that Negroes are free and will be treated as such. So that gave us our citizenship status at that very moment. If Abraham Lincoln and General Sherman had intended for the word freeman to be put in that Special Field Order 15 document, it would have been there. It would have been all through the document. Because nobody said it had to be left out. If freeman was really the ethnicity that our ancestors who helped draft up that document, if they wanted to go by freeman, they had an opportunity to do it at that moment. They had an opportunity to go by black at that moment. They had an opportunity to go by color. They had an opportunity, if they had heard of the term Black American, to go by it at that time. If they had heard of the term African American, they would have put it in that document at that time. Because they had a choice of how they wanted to be identified in that document. And they stood on Negro. That's what they put in the document that was signed by the president and General Sherman. Nobody had a gun to their head and said you cannot put the word freedman, Black American, African American, ABOS, FBA, all these other classification terms. Nobody told those ancestors they couldn't put one of those words there, one of those terms. So let's not get tangled up with the switcheroos of how word terms are used, because folks like to use that to keep you off kill. They'll change it up, interchangeable, and it just throws you off. But if you know how to dissect and analyze and evaluate things in a critical thinking way, you can see right through the smoke screen. You can see right through it. You can see right through that smoke screen. And that's what I've been doing these past months and things. I've been listening carefully at how words are constantly being swapped around. And they ain't fooled me not one bit. They ain't fooled me not one bit. Not one second. Absolutely not 1 second. I can tell you that. Absolutely. So here's the rest of Naheem. And I'm going to get ready to shut this down because I need to go to sleep. I've been up for past 24 hours almost. So for the little time that I dozed off while I was making these recordings, I ended up making 14 separate recordings of this Actify press space that was a little over 2 hours. I broke it down into 14 pieces, but I mainly wanted to hear Naheem, because someone who sent me this recording told me what he said, and I needed to hear it with my own ears. So the primary reason for listening to this replay was to hear Naheem say what he said out his mouth. But it took me 14 parts of listening to the whole 2 hour space. But here's Naheem.
As Sister Cindy was saying earlier, and she was spot on 100% correct. And the Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas, he already said it, right? That this was an under-inclusive proxy for race, basically using legal language. It breaks down to our race was incidental to this legal status. And being that we were the only one freed, because we were the only one freed, well then, you get to understand why.
You see how he did the strata of the fence. We were the only one free. Well, wait a minute. At the beginning of this space, Actify said that the freedmen were not part of the 4 million that were enslaved. Which one is it? Which one is it? You can't straddle the fence on both sides. You're either a free person, or you were one of those. You either one of those 450,000 that somebody is throwing out there, that number that someone is starting to throw out there all of a sudden, or were you one of those 4 million that were enslaved? Which one do you fall into? You can't fall into both of them, because the 4 million emancipated persons who were slaves, they were identified as Negroes. They weren't identified as freedmen. Naheem. I can't pronounce your name too well. But newsflash, Naheem. It's written, it's documented in history that 4 million Negro slaves were emancipated. Can it get through your thick head? Can it get through your thick head, your thick brain cells? 4 million Negroes were emancipated. They didn't say 4 million freeman persons were emancipated. They were crystal clear. 4 million Negroes were emancipated. See how that facts work? You see how that facts work? It don't fall in the category of lies and half-truths and false narratives.
Here's the rest of Naheem's talking points.
Look at it as a proxy for race. So I want to give my scenario that y'all probably heard me say before. If there was a group of Chinese people in this country, if there was a group of Chinese people in this country that were enslaved, we were enslaved, and freed, emancipated, when we were emancipated, I don't care if it was 1865 or if they were, in my hypothetical, this is 1866 under the 5 slaveholding tribes. They, until this day, would be called Chinese American freedmen because the freedman represents the status. And using freedmen in that way is identifying the status. The term Negro is a badge of slavery. This is a fact. The term Negro is a derogatory term. It has always been.
Oh, just stop it right there. Mr. Naheem, Negro is not a badge of slavery. Negro is not a derogatory term. Negro has 246 years of free labor and hell that our ancestors went through. So somebody in that space should have come off the microphone and corrected you. Somebody should have had a backbone to come off of their microphone and corrected you and let you know what time of day it was. Someone in that space should have done that to honor the ancestors. If they had a decent bone in their body, they should have done that at that very moment. They should have come off their microphone like I hear all the time in these spaces where folks are jumping off the microphone and talking over each other. That was a time for that to happen. Because this insulting, sorry human being that go by the name of Naheem, I was not going to stop the recording to say this until afterwards, but after, I just can't keep it in any longer. This man is evil. He reminds, when I hear him talk, he reminds me of Hitler. Yes, that's what springs to my thoughts right away. As soon as I start hearing him talk, I think of that small mustached man called Hitler. That's what I think about when I hear Naheem talk. That man is deeply evil. I don't know why he's that way, but that's how he sounds when I listen to him. And I'm going to say it. I wouldn't want to have no association with him. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near him. I wouldn't believe him no further than I could throw him. Everything in between, something is damaging with him. And I will also add this. If you want to, he from time to time, he always referenced the Moors. If you want to learn about how the continent felt Moors bloodline, listen to the recording on my profile, The Destruction of the Black Civilization. The author of that audio book spent 16 years of his life and almost went blind. And he talks about the Moors, the one that Naheem seems to be associated with. That man, the Moors were not talked about by that author in no good light. And the Moors and the native African people did not like each other. They had a vitriol hatred, if I understood it when I listened to it. It was a deep-seated hatred. And that sounds like what's spewing out of Naheem's mouth a lot of the times that I've heard him speak in rooms. I almost can put myself back there in that time in history of that disagreement or vitriol that was between those two ethnic groups, the Moors and the African people.
are the Moors and the Negro population, the Negro ethnicity. Because we do know now that there was a Negro landmass on the African continent. There was a landmass separate from the other African native people that was called Negro land. And I'm not ashamed.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
And to say, I believe I'm from that Negro bloodline. I'm going to claim it, unless I can find documents that prove otherwise. Since that's what's on my birth certificate, I'm going to claim it. I don't need anybody else's approval. Okay, I'm claiming it as long as I feel like doing it. And now he spews hate for Negro, and I think it stems from that Moorish attachment that he had with that association. It's clear if you listen to him, it just spews out of him. But that man is evil. He's an evil walking human being. And it's unfortunate that Freeman put him out front and center as their spokesperson. That now will always be associated with Freeman. As long as in existence, Naheem and Freeman will be connected, associated together. Because he was the one who was put out front as the spokesperson, the loudest voice. And that painted a very, very negative image on Freeman. Even though Freeman was only in existence for 2 years, Active 5 Press said at the beginning of his room that they wanted to resurrect the word Freeman. You see how foolish that sounds? You're gonna resurrect a word and then stamp everybody with that word like you God yourself, like you have the ability, the right to stamp everybody with that classification term because you felt a need to resurrect it. Everybody else had to fall in line and go along with it. If they don't go along with it, you're gonna label them as being hateful. You want to destroy them. I'm gonna let you listen to the rest of Naheem talk about how his feelings are about the Negro bloodline, the Negro ethnicity. So listen for yourself.
Ali brought up, he's putting together a presentation now. He had to put it on pause for a minute because we're working on so much stuff. But he got back on it yesterday. He pulled up it was the Freedmen's, I think it was from either the Freedmen's Inquiry Commission or the Freedmen's Bureau. It's on his wall. I just would have to do a quick search to find it. Ask. This is right after, this was probably 1865. They asked the people that was representing either the Freedmen's Bureau or the Freedmen's Inquiry Commission asked one of the former slaves, do y'all want to be referred to as Negroes? And the brother said, no, we don't want.
You see how easily that lie rolled out of his mouth. We have no way of verifying proof that one person or two persons or 10 persons said that at that time, but he is presenting it as gospel truth. You see how desperate persons are when they want persons to believe their lies. They stretch, they reach and stretch, and it just makes them. It just reveals how desperate they are for their lie to be believed. Desperate. That's desperation. I can't say concretely whether they found a document where somebody was asked that specific question, but how many persons were asked that question? How many persons answered that question at that very moment that said that they didn't want to identify as Negro? Can't nobody present those documents. Can't no one present that data. So why spew that lie out your mouth when it does not have any supportive, factual document proof? It may be one person, it may be two persons, it may be three persons, it may be 10 persons that said that. Who knows whether it's true or false? But what it does not discount is that Negro slavery was for 246 years. It don't discount that. And you know it as well as I do. You know it as well as I do when you look in that mirror. It don't discount 246 years of slavery that built the wealth of this country. You can't get around it, Mr. Naheem. You just can't get around it. No matter how hard you try, you can try every day until you take your last breath. You will never be able to get around 246 years of Negro slavery. It was Negro slavery. That's what it was called. It was Negroes who were the slaves. It was called, is documented in history as Negro slavery. 246 years. Freedmen was in existence for 2 years. There's no comparison. And that's what worries y'all. That's why you have all this vitriol for Negro. You have a big problem on your hand. The same problem that Margaret Sanger had, the same problem that J. Edgar Hoover had, the same problem that every one of those racist KKK white people had from the time they brought our ancestors here. You got that same problem that they have. What are we going to do about the Negro? What are we going to do about this Negro problem? Naheem, you got a Negro problem, don't you? You got a real serious Negro problem. Let the folks finish hearing you talking so I can go to sleep.
Be referred to as Negro, because basically, I'm going to paraphrase, that's a proxy for slave, and that's what they called us during Sekesh time. We was trying to say secession. They didn't want to use the term then. The term became popular because we kept using it. It is a derogatory term. It denotes and connotes slavery and the slave. It was given to us by pale skin Europeans with the express purpose, going all the way back in the 1300s, using their Christian ideology, because you had Christians fighting wars at that time.
You see how he referenced that history in the 1300s of the war between the Christian Europeans and the Moors? See, this is a deep-rooted animosity that's spewing out of Naheem's brain. He is wanting to harm Negro because of the history that transpired between the European Christians and the Moors. The Negro slavery and reparations claim have nothing to do with what took place in the 1300s, of that animosity, of that war that they had between each other. That has nothing to do with our ancestors who spent 246 years as slaves. It has nothing to do with our ancestors who got burnt, lynched, and hung, who got murdered daily. Naheem. It has nothing to do with that history that's documented. You see how that is? You may have some anger or some animosity about that history that took place in the 1300s. You got to deal with that. You got to do some soul searching and resolve that anger or whatever perspective or analysis or evaluation or that you have wrapped up in your brain cell. You need to go deal with that. You need to get checked into a hospital and get examined. You need help. You need serious, immediate mental help. See, you slipped. You slipped. You should have never referenced that history, because I had already listened to the destruction of the black civilization, and I already had heard that author talk about the Moors and how they were against the native African people. I hadn't quite been able to process it and digest it and analyze it completely, but I had remembered hearing it when I listened to that audio book, because I have listened to the destruction of the black civilization 4 times already, and I'm probably going to listen to it a dozen more times before I can try to dissect and digest all of that content and information that author spent 16 years of his life and almost went blind to write that book. You see, I had already heard that author reference the word Moors before I heard persons calling you a Moors. I had already heard that in that book, and you slipped up. That's where your heart and soul is at. That's really where your allegiance is at. It's with the Moors. It's not with the freemen. Your true inner soul allegiance is with the Moors. And maybe someday, before you die, you'll come clean and clear your conscience and speak the truth about it. Maybe someday. Who knows? But you slipped up there. You slipped up big time. You really did. I got the recording, and I'm going to save it until I die. I'm going to save it until I die. Here's the rest of Naheem spewing his hate for Negro.
Yeah, these people with these black skins, our skins are brown, dark brown to light tan, were devils because they had black skin. And the devil in our Christian doctrine, I have so many different sources that I can pull up, from Didymus to Blind, etc., etc., etc. So people could pretend like they don't know that these are facts, or maybe they just don't know. And hopefully I help educate. And, because we live in an age where you could just really just type up anything and see if it's true or not. You can find a good source material, and see if what somebody is saying is right and exact or not. And we're going to prove it. Just stay tuned. We are going to destroy this term Negro once and for all and prove that it was an anchor that was designed and crafted by Europeans, not just European Americans, Europeans and Jews, to hang on our necks, to drive.
Somebody in that room should have come off the microphone when this sorry human being said that he want to destroy Negro. Do you hear me? Somebody in that room at that very moment, if it would have been possible, humanly possible, to reach through the phone and put their hands around his neck and strangle him, that should have been done at that very moment. Where do he have the audacity to think that he have the right and the ability to destroy a whole race of people who have that ethnicity on their birth certificate, marriage license, death certificate, all the Negro leads, the Negro patents, the Negro inventions.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
You've got goals for your small business. That's why now's the time to level up your marketing with Constant Contact. With powerful tools to find and connect with new customers, manage your social posts and events, and send automated emails and texts, you'll stand out, stay top of mind, and see results fast. Constant Contact's cutting-edge technology makes marketing easy so you can focus on running your business. Start achieving your small business goals with a free trial at ConstantContact.com today.
Negro slavery. What in God's name told his little brain cells that he have the right to erase all of that because of his hatred and vitriol for a Negro? Why did not someone come off of a microphone and let him know right then and there he need to never show his face again in public? Never, ever, ever again. Because our ancestors have over 400 years of history documented as a Negro, so that we would not have to start at ground zero. That documents the sacrifice that they made to build America. So this sorry man wants all of that erased because of his vitriol and hatred for Negro. And nobody came off the microphone and attacked him. Not one peep, not one sound, not one peep of anyone coming off of their microphone and lighting into him. But his day is coming. As sure as what his name is on his birth certificate, Naheem is going to see this come back full circle back round to him before he died. Karma is a bitch. Karma is a bitch. And this man have it coming for him. He have it. He deserved all of it. And like I said earlier, when I hear this man talk, I hear evil. I hear similarities to Hitler. Hitler is a frightening thing. And I don't use that lightly, a cavalier. I wish I did not have to say these words, the black bag. But yes, I wish I did not have to say those words to reference this sorry man. But he's evil. And somebody needs to let him know that he needs to check into a hospital and get mentally checked out, because you can have all of the passion and love to want to identify as a freeman, but you have crossed the line. You have went too far when you want to destroy a whole ethnicity of persons, of human beings that choose to want to identify as Negro, who look at their birth certificate, marriage license, and death certificates, and all of the history that their ancestors sacrificed so that they could not have to start at ground zero. The whole history that you're trying to get reparations on. You see how that works? You are trying to claim reparations for a history that you want to destroy. How does that work? Naheem, can you appear before the courts and explain to the court how you expect to get reparations for a history that's documented as Negroes, but you want to destroy it? How does that work? What type of Houdini are you going to pull to make that work? Please enlighten us. Please, for God's sakes, enlighten us how you intend to receive reparations for a debt that you want to destroy the history. Will you please explain that? Man, you have lost it. You literally have lost it. I don't know if your Mr. Ali is in the same mindset as you, but if he been around you, God help him. God help Mr. Ali. If he been associating and talking with you for any length of time, God help him. God help any person that have an association with you, because you are evil. You are one evil person to the core. It's you wonder in your lifetime if you're ever gonna be able to witness true evil, where you are that person in the flesh. You know, we constantly utter the word evil out of our mouth, but we never really ever really meeting evil head on. Well, if we haven't met you face to face, we have certainly heard you, and you are evil. You are evil to the core. I'm gonna let them finish listening to your final words.
Us down as a people, but I want to say this: people can identify as their truth. If that's what you feel, that you are a beast, a dog, that you are lower than a money march.
Oh yes, and that's the part where he referred to Negro ethnicity as a dog, and then Actified Press tried to equate it to meaning black in Spanish, and dead, and folks like to say Negro means dead. They all sound foolish, just absolutely foolish, but they don't care. All they care about is folks believing a lie coming out their mouth. It's sad. It's really sad. It's sad when folks get that desperate that they will spew these kind of lies. Our ancestors were called Negroes for 246 years. That's the whole basis of the reparations claim. And folks can go out their way enough to shit on it. They called into the OMB and asked the OMB to reclassify them from Negro. When you're trying to get reparations for Negro slavery, what brain cell tells you to tell the OMB to reclassify you from that term? How does that compute in your brain? Please explain that. Please present yourself before the courts and explain to the judge, to the court, how you're going to win a case when you are asking to be reclassified from the very foundation of your reparations claim. How are you you intending to try to do a straddle the fence performance. You are intending to do a tether performance. You are intending to do a leech performance. You want to leech and claim the harm, but you don't want to identify as the people who were identified as Negroes, who went through the initial harm, where the harm started. It started with those 246 years of every one of those persons who went through that slavery for 246 years. It didn't start with you and me. It didn't start with me and you. It started with those persons who went through those 246 years as slavery. So have your brain cells started clicking yet? Have your brain cells started working yet? You don't have a ghost of a chance of getting a dime if you don't want to identify as the Negroes who went through that. Because the redlining and the Jim Crow and all that happened after that wouldn't have happened if those 246 Negroes went through what they did. None of us would have been still breathing to go through Jim Crow and redlining and prison and pipeline and everything in between. None of us would have went through that if some of those human being persons didn't survive slavery. None of us would have been here to go through redlining. None of us would have been here to go through prison and pipeline, crack era, lynchings and burnings and everything that took place after that, Jim Crow laws and black code laws. None of us would have went through any one day of that if those Negroes had not survived slavery. You see how that works? Y'all got a problem. Y'all got the same problem that J. Edgar Hoover talked about and Margaret Sanger and all those KKK and rednecks and evil white people in the southern states that wanted our ancestors' demise. Y'all have the same problem that they have. Yeah, y'all right there with them. Y'all good company for each other. Y'all very good company. Y'all must be resurrecting a lot of those people from their grave. Cause y'all certainly got the same problem on y'all plate that they had. They had a Negro problem. Y'all have a Negro problem, Freeman. Y'all have a Negro problem. Do you plan to burn every document, everything that's documented in history that states Negro, all the census reports, all the birth certificates, all the marriage license, all the death certificates, everything that's documented that says Negro? Do you plan to go burn all of that? Collect it all up and burn it, because you got a Negro problem. You got a major Negro problem on your plate, don't you? You got a major problem. And then you hit your wagon to Nahi. Whoa, it don't get no better than that. Y'all hitched y'all wagon to Nahi. I don't see how y'all could not have seen what his character was made of. That's the baffling thing for me. That smart and intelligent people would associate with someone of his caliber, his character. How do you do that and sleep at night? How do you talk and have conversations with this type of man and then lay down and sleep like a baby and go about your merry life, knowing that you had some type of association with him? How do your conscience get past that? Can you please explain that? How does your conscience rectify that? I got to let y'all listen to this last few seconds so I can go to sleep.
Because this is what the earlier definition say. Knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. That's on you. I just wanted to get up there and say that Negro is not a proxy for freedom, and we just seen that in the Supreme Court. I'm good.
That was the end of recording number 12, I believe, on my Google Drive. I made 14, but I'm not going to be able to play them all because I'm sleepy. And I mainly listen to this replay because of that 5-minute part right there of what Naheem said out of his mouth. That was the primary reason that caused the person to send me this recording, because I would have never have heard this recording. But since Naheem took upon himself to compare the Negro bloodline with a dog, and that he wants to destroy, he wants to personally destroy Negro. Negro built America. Negro built the wealth of America that folks are still benefiting off today. Every one of our paychecks that we get come off of the backs of those 246 years of our ancestors who were slaves and did not get paid for their labor, that were killed and murdered and burnt and lynched and hung. Every one of our paychecks come from that. Every dime, every paycheck that we have cash, every car, every house, every clothes, every pair of shoes, everything that we have been able to buy and enjoy came off the backs of those ancestors who went through that 246 years. And y'all let this sorry human being come on a stage and tell y'all to your face that he wants to destroy it. And nobody came off the microphone. Not one person. I don't know if it get any weaker than that. I don't know if you can get any weaker than that. To sit there and listen to this man say what he said and not come off the microphone and let him know that you wish you could put him out of his pain. Put him to rest. Put him out of his pain and the pain that he is causing those around him. Well. I'm going to end the room. I hope folks get a chance to go back and listen to the replay. I intend to post it for the next 30, 60, 90 days. I intend to post it for a good long time because I have never encountered evil like Naheem. You know, I had always imagined evil. I had always said the word out my mouth, but I had never heard other than Hitler. Other than Hitler, I had never really heard with my own ears a person talking who was filled with evil. Well, that changed. That changed for me after listening to those 5 minutes and many other times of Naheem. I had stopped short of calling him evil. All the months before last night, every time I heard him, I never went all the way of wanting to call him evil. I never let myself form those words. I can say them now without any hesitation, without stuttering. I just heard evil. I just heard evil with my own 2 ears. And nobody came off the microphone. Not one person. Shameful. Shameful, disgusting, total disrespect for the ancestors. Total dishonor for what sacrifice they made. Just total disrespect and dishonor. I don't know how that man should ever be able to show his face in public again. I don't know how, but there'll be folks out there who will not even give it a second thought what he said, because maybe because they have some of that similar evil inside of themselves. See, birds of a feather will flock together. That's what my mother told me at a very young age. She said, Aquilin, birds of a feather will flock together. So birds of a feather that are similar to Naheem, they will flock to each other. It just would happen naturally. They would just naturally gravitate to each other because they are birds of a feather. And that's how birds conjugate with each other, because they are birds of a feather. They're able to identify their similarities, what they have in common. So, yes, I think I started this room at 10:15. It is now right at 12:40. So, the room is a little over 2 hours. But I made 14 separate recordings of Actify Press Room last night when I started listening to it. I did not think it would take that long, but I had to keep stopping it and starting it. And I broke it into 14 separate parts. 14 separate parts. It's criminal. It's criminal. It's disgusting. It's cynical. It's evil. What I just listened to with my own 2 ears. It's sad. It's very, very sad. And if folks think that we have a ghost of a chance of getting reparations with this man being involved, anyone with a brain in their head that think that we are going to get reparations with this evil man being a part of it, y'all are sadly mistaken. You are each sadly mistaken. You will not see one red dime before you take your last breath. You can take that to the bank and draw interest on it. If this sorry human being is a major part of reparations, the human being who said he wants to destroy Negro wants to convince y'all that he's going to help you get reparations. Reparations is based on 246 years of Negro slavery, the very thing that he wants to destroy. Have the light bulb went off in y'all head yet? Have y'all started getting worried? Have you started to realize where you went wrong? Have that light bulb went off in your head? Because it didn't take me that long for it to flip on. This man is evil. Evil to the core. And he will get his just due before he leave this world. He got it. He have it coming. It's coming. Don't know when it's going to happen, but that evil man is going to get his just due. Before he came into the world, ancestors went through 246 years before he took his first breath. And now in the 21st century, he thinks he have the right to shit on them, to dump on them, to erase them off the face of the earth. He wants to accomplish something that the white people have not even completely accomplished yet. But he thinks he's almighty. He has the ability to do that. To do something that the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, the white Southerners, the J. Edgar Hoover, the Margaret Singers, and all the other folks out there who've been wanting to get that accomplished. Naheem feels that he has the ability and the right to do it. You see how crazy that is? You see how crazy that is? I really want you to really let that sink in. You see how crazy that is? Because we have done our research And we understand that the Civil War was fought over Negro slavery. We understand that from 1619 up to when slavery ended, that human beings were brought to this landmass, America, and those who were already here, because evil human beings wanted to make another human being a slave. They wanted to get rid of the Negroes, and they got rid of a large percent of Negroes. Yes, they did. They killed and lynched and burnt and hung millions and millions of us. And then folks asked J. Edgar Hoover the question, what is the greatest threat to America? J. Edgar Hoover, the unity of the Negro. Ding, ding, dong. That's Naheem's problem. You see how, did you hear that when you heard him talking? That's the same problem that Naheem have. He got a Negro problem. Naheem has a Negro problem. The hatred just spews out of his mouth. Well, unbelievable. In closing, much love and respect for the ancestors and the sacrifices they made, so I could be here to talk to you today and open this room space. And it's just I'm trying to gather myself at the same time that I'm talking. I'm really trying to hold it together. But I wanna go back to take my thoughts back to something pleasant, the ancestors, and what they sacrificed so that we could have a start, that we could have a chance at life, that we would not have to start at ground zero the way they did. They wanted us to have that start. And this sorry human being called Naheem wants to sit on a app in a Twitter space and tell every person that was in that room that he wants to destroy that. He feels that he has the right and the ability to destroy all of that. So I'm going to close with that. Much love again to the ancestors. Much respect. Much gratitude for the sacrifice that was made. Okay, folks, that's the end of audio for part 3. I want to thank each and every one that will take the time to listen to this audio, and I hope that it will have a positive impact on your day-to-day life as we go forward and try to make the right decisions as far as the fight for reparations for the ancestors' justice claim who suffered and sacrificed through 246 years of slavery. Hopefully each of us can look within ourselves and decide in what way can we contribute to that fight. It's each person's personal choice. I also like to say in closing that I hope that we will have the conversations with each other to help each other be more alert and conscious to the environment and the people in that environment that may pose a threat to your well-being and safety. Hopefully we can support each other in this way to look out for one another and live to see another day and go on about living our life and being as happy as we can be. Once again, thank you and take care.